Hey YouTube, this is Gracie and welcome back to Card-tober, a series in which I show you how to make a Disneybounding Halloween card every day in the month of October. Today's card is Disneybounding as Zero, the ghost dog from Nightmare Before Christmas, and as you probably remember, he's entirely white except for his very, very bright orange pumpkin nose. So I have done an entirely white card, and I've just done a pop of orange to add just a little pop of color and of course reference his bright orange nose. Now typically you may think, oh, why didn't you just do the pumpkin orange because his nose is a pumpkin and it's orange? Well, I wanted to do something slightly different, something that you maybe wouldn't expect, so I have left most of the card white, especially the pumpkin. I've also included some really cool sort of sparkly organza ribbon, and I've done about, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I've done 2 layers of white cardstock for the background. Now this pop of orange is not just a scrolly type design, it actually says eerie. So I thought that was kind of cool, different touch to a card. And of course this is kind of becoming my style where I have the card kind of expand beyond the base of the card, if that makes any sense. So that's what I've done for the word eerie. I've actually done this from the Cricut cartridge, Happy Hauntings, and I did that in size, what was that? Size 1. So let me go ahead and show you the inside of the card. I just did a simple little Happy Halloween, and I did that in orange. That is the Distress Oxide in Spiced Marmalade from Tim Holtz. And I've done a little tiny graveyard because him and his best pal Jack walk through the graveyard and they play fetch with one of Jack's bones. Actually, I think one of his ribs. And then on the back is my G stamp with a little pumpkin face on the inside just to carry through that whole pumpkin design. So let me go ahead and show you how I made the card. I started off with my typical white card, which is 5.5 by 4 inches, and I've cut down my cardstock accordingly. So my first piece is 5.5 by 4 inches, so that's the exact size of the card. And my next size is about 1/4 of an inch smaller than that one. And we're just going to glue those together, and then we're going to glue them to the card. So I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz multi-purpose liquid glue, like always, and just using a thin line of glue all the way around each piece of cardstock. And then just place that onto the larger piece here, making sure that it's all the way inside and there's a bit of a border all the way around it. Okay, now we're going to flip that over, put a nice thin layer of glue all the way around and a little bit on the inside. And now we're going to flip that over and place that onto the card. All right, so there is the base of the card. You have all of your white pieces of cardstock. Like I said, I used the Cricut cartridge in Happy Hauntings, and I used the phrase eerie. So you can see that here in a very nice bright orange. And we're going to, you can actually see how much larger than the card it is. I really like having pieces kind of hang off the edges. I just think it makes it look kind of different and kind of cool. So we're going to add just little bits of glue here and there, because you are going to be putting the ribbon down with some Tacky Dot Singles, and that actually ends up holding the card or this piece to the card pretty well. So you just want to do little bits here and there just to help it along. Just like that. That should be enough, and you can always add more later. And we're just going to put that on down in the center there, and then make sure that you have enough on each end that makes you happy. And then just kind of push the pieces down, and that should do it. The next thing I did was I took my white organza ribbon. This is the spool that I have it on, and this is the white organza ribbon. This is 1.5 by 100 yards, so about 1.5 inches thick. And I just made a bow with it just like this. And then I've cut down the edges just a little bit. You can do a little bit more fancy edge. You can cut it like at a triangle or whatever, but I just liked it simple. I thought this also was a nice reference to his long flowy ears. So I kind of let them do whatever they wanted, those little sides. And now we're going to use our Tacky Dot Singles. And we're going to put that onto the back of the ribbon, or whichever side you want to put down. So whatever side that you think looks best, you'll want to put these Tacky Dot Singles on the opposite side. Okay, and I kind of like how this is sitting very nicely, so I'm going to use this side to put my Tacky Dot Singles on. We're just going to press that onto the ribbon. And I think I only used about three or four of these on my original. So just a couple to hold down the base of the ribbon or the middle section of the ribbon. And then if you want to add any more extra pieces just to kind of glue down or hold down some of these edges that you may want to, you know, stick to the card a little bit more. And now we're just going to push down onto the card. All right. I think I'm going to add one more just to the back here, just so that this part of the ribbon kind of comes down a little bit more. So right about here. And kind of move it, manipulate it however you want it to be. There we go, that makes me happy. And so you're almost there. All you have to do is stamp out your pumpkin. And let me show you the stamp set that I used. This is from Jar of Haunts from Stampin' Up. And you kind of build your own pumpkin. So if you wanted, you could do some really actual spooky eyes on there or whatever you want. I went with the typical jack-o'-lantern just because that is what Zero has on his nose. So I have this piece here, the face, and last but not least, the little stem. And this is what I came up with. Here, let me grab it. I just did this on some thick white cardstock. And then I went through with my Nuvo crystal drops in ebony black and did the whole face of the jack-o'-lantern just in a little bit of the Nuvo. And now we're going to use just a couple of Tacky Dot Singles on the back of that. And you're going to want to place that in the center of the back of the pumpkin. Just right next to each other. So there's the one, and I'll show you up close in just a second so you can see that better. And the next one just next to it. So let me show you. So you can see here the two Tacky Dot Singles right next to each other. And now we're just going to simply put that onto the center of the ribbon. Nice and easy. And these Tacky Dot Singles are really strong, so you don't have to worry about any of the pieces coming off. How funny would that be if that actually flew off? All right, so there you have it. There is your Disneybounding Zero Halloween card. I hope you guys liked today's video. Oh, before I leave, let me show you the last stamp set that I used. I almost forgot. It's from Spooky Fun from Stampin' Up. And that is where I got the little tiny pumpkin face and the graveyard. So wanted to make sure I showed you that before I left. I hope you guys have a great day. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And happy Halloween, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!